questions.
We discussed the housing issues in the Valley, and evaluating where we are right now, we've actually seen a lot of homes that have dropped their prices. 36 Metro Phoenix houses for sale saw price cuts in May per Redfin as homeowners who need to sell try to entice buyers back to the market. And it sounds like buyers are, count me among them, buyers have decided to pause. Look, I would love to have my name on a deed somewhere again right now. But in the meantime,
you just feel like, do you feel priced out, or do you feel like the juice is not worth the squeeze?
Both.
Like you just don't feel like the value's there?
Both. I just pulled up Zillow, and for what I would want to pay, I can't come anywhere close to what I would want to live in.
So you could buy a house, just not the house that you feel is fitting for you.
I could buy a money pit is what I could do.
Oh.
Yeah, I could do that. But also, I would be buying a money pit at 6.5% interest, and that to me is just too much to pay for something I don't want. So I'm both frustrated by it. I'm priced out, and I'm frustrated by the whole thing.
But you're confident that prices are going to come down.
I'm betting on it.
I am going to say that prices are going to go up.
I'm glad that you narrowed it down to one direction.
I said one direction.
This is great.
You're welcome.
Why do you think home prices are going to go up? Because I've been hearing this for a while.
Yeah, I'll whip through the three reasons, then I want to hear yours, and I can expand at some point as well. But a lack of supply. Supply is way down from where it was in the 1980s. Lack of supply means demand is up, which means prices will stay up. Lack of optimism over affordability, too, to me is a huge deal. That, just think about this for a second. Home buyers in 1985, they were way more optimistic than they are now. 85 in September, 72% of consumers said it was a good time to buy a home.
Okay.
June of this year, 12%.
Now, why did we pick 1985?
Because that's a stat that I saw.
Okay. All right.
We picked 1985 because, I don't know, because interest rates were sky high then too, but people were still buying homes then.
Okay.
Did you have another reason why I cited 1985?
No, I just know that the home prices were crazy about 1980, and I wondered if 1985 was 5 years removed from.
Just
whatever.
happened to be the stat that I saw.
Okay.
I didn't have a particular. So take this too. Just in the last couple years, Chris, January 2021, a family needed an income of less than $50,000 to afford a median-priced single-family home with a 20% down payment.
All right. Median income under 50 grand.
$49,000 in change. June of this past year, that same family would need an income of $110,000 to make the same purchase.
Because home prices have more than doubled.
Yeah. So you've also got just this lack of optimism as well, of people just don't feel like, to your point, they might be able to buy something, but do I really want to buy that 3-bedroom, 2-bath that's going to be a total gut job that I'm going to have to totally remodel and get into, and it's not in a neighborhood that I love? Here's the other thing, too. Mortgage interest rates are not coming back down to the 2.75s or the 2.6s or even below 3. We're 6.5 right now. They will creep down. I could see them getting to 6 in the next 6 months or so, but that's going to keep people from buying a house as well, that the housing price is going to stay high because the interest rate's going to stay way up there.
All right. So they're going to come down, Joe.
No, they're up.
The home prices, it's going to be easier to get into a home. The mortgage rates are going to come down. Home prices are going to come down. Everything you've said is total BS.
I disagree.
It's absolute malarkey.
Why?
Because economists have been saying this stuff, right? And economics is the only scientific discipline less accurate than meteorology. I would rather trust Troy Hayden to tell me what the market is going to do than these economists. When it comes to economists agreeing on something, that's groupthink. They all say housing prices aren't coming down soon, so my first thought is, okay, here they go. They're dropping. It's a little bit like the National Hurricane Center that goes, there's going to be 6 named storms this year. And then you end up with 22 named storms, and they wipe out the entire eastern seaboard. They have no idea what they're doing.
So you're banking on experts being wrong.
Totally wrong. consider the variables. You mentioned the housing shortage. You said, well, we're so short on housing.
Don't have the supply. It's
So what?
less than what it was in 85, and we've got way more people now.
Thank goodness you picked 1985. I'm glad you pulled that completely out of your tush because that goes back to economists making things up. 1985 has nothing to do with anything except it was a great year for film. Back to the Future. So, it's the only one I can think of.
1.21 gigawatts?
Actually, Karate Kid might have been right around that, too.
You're the best around.
So here's the other thing, too. This housing shortage you keep talking about?
Yeah.
Who's that stopping from getting into a home?
New home buyers?
Where are they right now?
Apartments?
So there's not a housing shortage. They just can't find anything to buy.
Right.
They're living somewhere. People that can afford to buy housing, they're in housing right now.
But they don't want to move because they don't feel like they can afford to move somewhere else because they've got that locked-in low interest rate like me. I'm not going to
Not if they're renting in an apartment.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. And the other thing is, you've got this we're not going to take it attitude that is starting to creep right now. You got high demand. I agree. Housing is short, but the housing for the right price is there. Okay?
People want to own a home.
People want to own a home. The homes are there. They're priced too high. So if I'm looking at a home and I have a budget of $400,000, I'm competing against other people that want to buy a home for $400,000.
And there's a lot of them.
And the homes that we want are $700,000 right now.
Okay.
All right? The people that are not in homes right now don't have $400,000 to go buy a home. They're hoping to get into the apartment once the people in the apartment go buy a home. That's where the housing shortage is. And you are going to have some new employees and you're going to have some young people that are moving out of the home. You're always going to have that. But when we talk about a housing shortage, we're oftentimes talking about affordable housing. $400,000 isn't considered affordable housing. That's considered median. I want median, right? I want a median home. I want a 3-2 with a little yard or a little lot, right? Pretty standard, okay? But I'm not willing to pay it. And if we're not going to pay it, suppose you own a home in the Valley, but then your job went away in late 2019 and you sold. And you took your equity and you moved someplace cheaper. And you thought, this is great, I've got cash. But then prices explode. 4 years later, you get offered a job with the competition in Phoenix and you end up moving back. Hey, got a home, lose my job, crap, I'm selling my house, I'm moving. Cool. Still looking for a job, just got a phone call. Oh, they're hiring in Phoenix, I could move back there. Cool. You can't afford the home that you just sold 4 years ago because it's doubled in price. So what do? You rent. You're not going to pay the prices for the home that you just sold. You're going to rent. You are the demand. You see the supply and you scoff. You're on the sidelines. The rent is high, but it is not backbreakingly high right now. Rent is too high, but it's cheaper for me to rent than it is to buy the home that I want. And remember this economy could turn at any moment. Debt is a sleeping giant, and it is ready to awaken like Mothra from the mantle of hell, ready to rise from the volcanous opening and rear its ugly head. I kind of made that up. I should have thought it through better. If this economy crashes, home values are coming down with it. Arizona, Nevada, California, we lead the wave when it comes to the housing prices, right? So they go way up, and then when the housing market crashes, it drops. And real estate moves in cycles. From buyer's markets to seller's market. We're in a seller's market, have been for 4 years. That pendulum will start to swing back soon enough, and maybe but not by the end of this year, but certainly by the end of next year. And the last reason I know that home prices are going to come down, Joe, is because I need them to. And I've manifested my desires, and Oprah told me it works, so I know it's going to happen.
So I just want to recap here real quick.
Go ahead.
You are throwing all of your hopes into ifs, hopes, and the experts being wrong, plus Harpo.
Yeah, basically.
I'm feeling pretty good about my argument.
Yeah. No, you're not. You made up stats from 1985. You cherry-picked some random year.
Hey, you've got Harpo.
Hey, in 2007, people thought it was a great time to buy. All right.
Keep clinging to your ifs and hopes, and the experts are wrong.
And I got Oprah on my side.
Most importantly, Oprah.
I got Oprah.
I'm sure she can recommend a book for you while you're not sitting in a house.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe, and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.